Coaches Connection, connecting you and the greater DMV to local sports programs, as well as the coaches that inspire our local youth.
Welcome to another edition of Coach Connection. I'm Farrar Tate, your host, and today I have something for you. So if you don't have something to write with, you need to get it, because we're going to throw some stuff out there at you that you're going to apply now and share with your children. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to an amazing man from the DMV that is still here changing the lives of young persons. My brother, please tell everybody who you are, who don't already know you, because you know you're a celebrity, right?
No, I don't know about all that. My name is Dwight Freeman, and I'm from the Washington, D.C. area, and originally from Anacostia, from the southern eastern quadrant of the District of Columbia.
I love it.
And so right now, currently, I'm a Countywide youth sports coordinator for the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, and I oversee basketball, flag football, and the Sugar Ray Leonard Boxing Center.
That's really good. I mean, we're going into like the end of our school year.
Yes.
So what could our students and parents look forward to this summer in your departments?
Well, what we're going to try to do, we're starting back up flag football. You can go online and sign up your child into flag football. We're going to kind of re-engage in that. They haven't had it, we haven't had anything really with COVID and everything. And so a lot of people have been stagnant, and the kids have really suffered some because they need that, interaction with other children and other people. So consequently, we're going to get that back up and going. We're also going to have little basketball clinics and things of that magnitude. And we're going to start up some programs at Sugar Ray Leonard Boxing Center where we can incorporate and bring the kids and get them involved in the boxing center.
Love it. Now, being from Anacostia High School to what you're doing now, that's a big gap there, right? Fill that in. Tell us what you used to do before you were doing what you're doing now, because it wasn't all just basketball. You've done a lot in your life.
Well, I've done quite a bit in my life, but mostly what I've done in my life is basketball.
Okay, but tell us about it.
I've been very fortunate, and basketball has allowed me to see the world.
Okay.
I came out of Anacostia in '77. Like I said, I went to Hutchinson Junior College, went to SMU, and then went to the Denver Nuggets, but I got released. So then I got into coaching. I started out at Moberly Junior College in Missouri, and went back to Hutchinson, and I became the head basketball coach at Marshall University in West Virginia. And at the time, I was the youngest head coach in the country, and I was the first and only black head coach in the state of West Virginia.
Wow.
So then I went to University of Miami, James Madison University. I was at Delaware State as an assistant, and then I ended up being the head coach at Norfolk State University, which in the HBCU and in the MEAC. So I've had a long run in basketball, and I've coached the national African team, and I stayed in Africa for a month down there and traveled the world recruited Tony Parker out of Paris, out of France, and Derek Nowitzki out of Germany, and a whole lot of other stuff.
The ball,
so,
taking you, like you said, literally all over the place.
There's the only place I have not been to that I probably want to go see is Australia, but any other place in the world, I almost have been.
Done it. And so you talked about just being able to transition and being able to pivot and being able to have an audible, right?
Right.
Yeah. I want you to tell everybody what that is, because 2019, our businesses, our children, our community all had to pivot. And in just talking with you, you gave me another insight, and how that insight you learned playing sports, that you are now still using it as a coach.
Right. Well, what we were talking about in taking sports and athletics and applying it to life, and what I was referring to is that a lot of corporations, they recruit athletes and military personnel because for the most part, all of us are disciplined. We are team players. We have to be able to follow rules. We have to be able to follow instructions from the coach in order for us to run the play. But as a coach, the person who's in charge, you have to have vision where you can see something coming that you ended up preparing for this, but you looking and you saying, oh, you see the headlights and you says, I can't go straight ahead and I have to call an audible. I have to pivot.
Write that down, right? Audible.
Where now instead of me going straight, we may have to veer around, circle back around and get back to where we want to be.
Yeah.
But we have to be flexible enough and we have to have enough vision in order for us to make changes in midstream to have our team be successful.
So your agency now is preparing, and you've had that audible, and you're preparing. And what can parents do in this time to prepare their children to really take on all of the opportunities that our county has for our young athletes?
Well, I mean, there are a number of different things, and there's just so much on parents nowadays. I mean, parents are working hard just to put food on the table.
Yes.
And a lot of times, sometimes you have single parents, whether it's man or woman, and they're running in a lot of different directions.
Yes, sir.
So one, we really need to get back to the village concept. I think we've really gotten away from the village helping raise our children. We need volunteer coaches. We need people to come over to the programs and assist. I mean, when I was growing up, and probably yourself, I remember Mr. Thompson. I remember Mr. Stem. I mean, I remember all these guys who helped develop me. Mr. Bates, Harold Bates, and people watching this probably remember Mr. Bates. I mean, great guy who took interest in us as children and helped us, grow in basketball. We need those men again. We need men to step up, and we need ladies to step in to assist and volunteer. Then two, the parents with the children who are in the program, we need the parents to be able to keep the children on time, keep the children, get that discipline at home and teach them how it's going to be in the real world. When they start working for IBM, when they go to work for the University of Maryland, when they go to work for the FBI or the police department, there's just so many different ways and avenues for us to make money and be successful in life other than playing sports.
Yes. And so you heard it, and I hope that you wrote that down. In this audible time that we live in, we have to be able to not only pivot ourselves and our families, but we have to be a part of our community's pivot. And so for those who want to volunteer, for those who want to write a check to the department, for those who want to just be in the stands to root on our young persons, how do we do that, Coach?
Well, first of all, you can go to the Countywide Commission and go to our website, and they have links where you can sign up to be volunteers. Our volunteers have to be fingerprinted. They have to do a background check. We have to make sure the people who are around our young people, are the right people. So they have to go through that process, and it takes time. So the earlier you can get involved, the earlier we can get you through the system so we can have you participate. And it takes almost a month or so in order for that process to happen. So if we're going to start basketball in October, if you come in October, it'll almost be too late and you won't pick up till November, and we've already started. So if you think that's something you want to do, please go online and sign in, and it will carry through for the whole year. So we really need them to just go online.
Now, you mentioned some of the other coaches that's out there still doing things, and you talked about just the discipline that our athletes learn and how they transition that discipline into like being professional, not just on the playing field. So my question is, and I hope that I'm giving you enough time to think about it, but tell about the success stories now. You talked about those who came through, but what about those coming through now? What are you seeing in the eyes of these young persons now as you are helping them?
Well, I am newer to the parking planning. I started in June.
Okay.
So we are just now getting back into activities of being around kids. So I haven't had the opportunity to really see the kids now as I have in the young people that I've dealt with prior to. Okay. And as a basketball coach on the collegiate level for 27 years, there were opportunities where I've seen young men come in and really apply themselves, and now running businesses, having their own business. I've had some, James Jones, who played with Miami Heat, Cleveland, won NBA championship, and now he is the general manager, president of the Phoenix Suns, and doing a great job. We got John Salmon, who came through and played for us. But we also have a Kevin Norris, who played for us, and he's the assistant basketball coach at Central Florida with Johnny Dawkins. And I really appreciate what you do. And I think there are just so many other avenues for people, like when you and I were speaking earlier, in this platform, you're training young people to be behind the camera. You're training young people to be the announcers. People don't realize that Stephen A. Smith makes a lot of money. A lot of money.
Hey, look at that. Hey, sit up on that one. Sit up on that one.
But nobody wants to be an announcer. Nobody wants to, cover the sports and be the journalist and things of that nature. They want to be on this side. But there's so many other avenues. Being a trainer, being a person who is the physical therapist. People who train these athletes. LeBron James probably spends $3 or $4 million a year on his body. So he's got a chef, he's got a trainer, he's got, medical personnel on, that takes care of him. And all these people get paid $300,000 or $400,000 a year.
Wow.
So there are just so many avenues and other things that we can do other than being the person on the field.
Yes. So when you think about it, I want you who's watching to clearly write this down, because we have to stop thinking that it's everybody else's job or business or concern to help our young persons live a better life now, not just when they get older or not when they become a superstar. Everybody wants to be around then, right?
Right.
So once again, how do we get actively connected to your department now? One more time.
Well, you go online to the Park and Planning Commission, and you go to the link that says volunteer, and you submit it, and you go in and volunteer. You can always just call, and unfortunately, I don't know the telephone number.
Oh, it's all good, but see, technology now, start with going online, everything. And you can also Google it, because we have to get after it. You said it. Don't wait till tomorrow when you can do right now.
Right.
One thing before we go, because I know there's a question I should have asked you, because you've done this so many times. So can you just look directly in the camera and tell us what we need to know to make sure that our parents are engaged and activate and getting these children to these organized sport communities, because they're all across the county, right?
Right.
So what can we do to get our parents, to get our children prepared to take advantage of these opportunities?
Well, there's just so many things that parents are able to do, and what we need to do. One, again, we need to go online and we need to sign the child up. We need to get them involved. We do everything through the community center. So go to your local community center, and there's someone somewhere in your neighborhood, whether it is the Bowie Center, whether it's the Vansville Center, whether it's Seat Pleasant or Peppermill, or whether it could be, Suitland or Hillcrest. But there's somewhere in Prince George's County, there's a recreation center near you. So go directly into the center, and they'll have a list of all the activities, sporting events, things that they can get involved in and that they can be part of. So consequently, once we get our young people engaged, we then also need adults to be engaged to help assist in running these programs at the local recreation centers. So if your child is into soccer, there's a soccer league that we run inside the county.
Okay.
There is a lacrosse league that we run inside the county.
Something for everybody.
Yeah, we run a basketball, which is the ICB, Inter-Center Basketball League, inside the county. And so all of these sports have coaches and leagues that the children can be involved in. And we're getting ready to start our inter-city flag football, which will be starting in a month or so. And so please go online, sign your child up, and get them involved in flag football.
Right. It's on us, not just you, to make sure our young persons have an opportunity to participate in all of these organized sports. And you heard it from Coach. It's taken him all over the world, and he has not finished traveling yet. So with your children in an organized community of really, y'all are all trained professionals, because you're not just dropping these kids off to somebody just run up and down the court with them. You know, a kid that spends some time with you is going to learn some things on and off the court. Am I correct?
Yeah, we'll do that. And, we're going to teach them life skills. One of the things that we also do is we have coaches clinics for the coaches. So when you sign up and you're coaching at one of the centers, at the beginning of the center, we had the USA Basketball come in, and they sponsored a coaches clinic for all the coaches who wanted to learn. And they did it for the county for free for us. And the coaches clinic was free to anybody who wanted to come. So we will provide opportunities for those who are volunteering to learn the sport and be engaged in the young people and things that we're doing. But it's a great opportunity. And again, we got to get back to the village. We now are letting our children just go, and everybody now is saying the children are different. No, the children are still children.
Yes.
It's the raising of the children that are different.
Yes.
The parents are different, because my daddy would have bust me upside my head back in the day, which now is illegal. He go to jail for what my dad used to do, And so it's one of those things where we have to get back to some things that are old school, protecting our kids, looking out for our kids, and looking out for them as a community and the village.
That's right. Well, would that be the final word? We are a village. Thank you for watching another episode of Coach Connection, where we're connecting you to coaches that are making a difference in the lives of our young persons today. Be involved now. Coach, thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy.
Coaches Connection, connecting you and the greater DMV to local sports programs, as well as the coaches that inspire our local youth. This show has been brought to you by the Scholar Athlete Sports Network, SASN.TV.